So that was kind of an unexpected visit. So we were in Corsica and we received a phone call that Srila Prabhupada had just arrived in Paris and we were to come up there immediately. And I was in the middle of giving a lecture in a yoga club. And someone came in and said, Prabhupada just arrived in Paris, you're supposed to come right now. I said, I'll finish my lecture. No, we want to go right now, we don't want to miss. I said, well, finish the lecture. Prabhupada would want us to finish the lecture. This is our duty. So I finished the lecture, 10 or 15 minutes, and I said to the audience, my spiritual master, a pure devotee of the Lord, has just arrived in Paris, the capital of your country. I said, if any of you want to come with us, you can come and meet a pure devotee. I said, can any of you come? At the back, I'd seen him earlier, a man in uniform. Corsica's an island, so the French Navy's there. And he raised his hand. He said, yes, me and my family will come. He said, this is the first time we've been to a yoga center, but what you've said is very, very interesting, and I'd like to meet the person who's explaining this to you, your guru. I said, sir, who are you? He said, I'm an admiral in the French Navy. You're an admiral in the French Navy? All right. He said, don't worry, I'll get off duty. I said, well, we'll leave in about a half an hour. He said, no problem. He went and made a few phone calls. He was in uniform. He just got off work or something. His wife went back in their car, got a few belongings. I think they had 2 kids. Within a short time they were back, and we jumped in our Sankirtan van and off we went with the French admiral in tow behind us. We drove, I think 12, 14 hours to Paris. We got there, and Prabhupada was just about to give a darshan. And we were unshaved, unshowered, driving all night. We weren't going to miss, one moment of Prabhupada's association. So we came in the temple, and I told the devotees, I said, I've got a big catch here. I've got an admiral. He has medals and everything. I'm like, come on up. So we came up, and Prabhupada just, 1 or 2 words had just started, and the door opened, we walked in. I was so, I was just so happy I could, bring something to my spiritual master. That etiquette is, you bring your guru some dakshin, some flowers, some fruits or something, and here we were bringing Admiral in the French Navy. I was just like bursting with pride, in the sense of, proud to be the disciple of my guru, and this is my alms, I brought this person for you to preach to. And Prabhupada saw the Admiral, he just, beamed, So I told the Admiral, I said, you sit down here right in front of Srila Prabhupada. And he was very respectful, the Admiral. Very, very respectful. When he saw Srila Prabhupada, he said, oh. So he sat down, I asked his wife, you please sit, and I sat next to him, and I told Prabhupada, we were doing a program, Srila Prabhupada, in the south of France, in Corsica, and we heard of your arrival, and I asked if anyone wanted to come, and this Admiral. I went, oh, very nice. So Prabhupada began speaking Bhagavad Gita, how Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna, who was a warrior. And Prabhupada said, even though we're a warrior, he described, there's Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, and a little bit about what each of them do, but how everyone's focused on offering their service to Krishna. He said, so even though you're warrior, he said, you can also be devotee of God. You can use your work to serve God. And Prabhupada was preaching like this. And the Admiral was drinking in every minute of it. Oh, yes. And then he started speaking Prabhupada, other things, reincarnation, karma, and these are all very new to the Admiral, but he was all ears. 45 minutes, Prabhupada preached just to him. And then in the end, the Admiral said, what do I call you? And I said, call him Srila Prabhupada. So he tried Srila Prabhupada. This is very interesting for me. He said, very, very interesting. He said, I don't know what's happened. I just came to a yoga club, with my wife wanted to go, and now I'm sitting here in front of you, a very special person. He said, if I want to understand this philosophy, what should I read? So Prabhupada said, Bhagavad Gita. One of the servants went and got Bhagavad Gita in French. He said, this is our French Gita. He said, you have to read this. And the Admiral looked at it as a big book. He said, well, I may not have time to read the whole book. So if he looked at it, he said, there's different chapters. He said, of all the chapters in this book, which chapter should I read, concentrate on? And Prabhupada said, 9th chapter. You read the 9th chapter, and then you'll understand everything about Krishna. And the man, he went like this. He took the Bhagavad Gita, received the Bhagavad Gita from Prabhupada, instruction, which chapter to read. He got the blessings of, then he left. Everything happened so quickly. We were so young in those days, we didn't, I didn't get his address. Get his telephone number. We were just driving up to Paris to see Srila Prabhupada, and there we were, and then the Admiral was gone. I thought, boy, I wish I had gotten his contact, Years later, in Paris, I was distributing books near the Mairie, near the mayor's office. And I came that morning, I saw there was a big function happening there. There was all cordoned off by the police, and there were, police cars, and the lights were going, and I thought, wow, this is great. I'll get in there. There must be a big event, a lot of important people there. I'll get in there somehow and distribute books to all the, maybe I'll get a book to the mayor or something. And I got in, and the police threw me out. They just took me, get out of here. And then I looked over, and they were a group of Navy personnel who were obviously part of whatever function it was. And they were looking how I'd been thrown out, roughly, by the police officer. I looked, and who did I see? Admiral. He was in his uniform. So he came over to the police. He said, "This boy can come. Let him come over." So I went over, and I said, well, it's a good opportunity. I said, "Admiral, good to see you, and put a few books in the hands of the people around there, I actually didn't sell any books, but I said, "It's really good to see you again." He said, "Yeah." He said, "Not a day goes by I don't remember your spiritual teacher. Not a week goes by I don't read the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita." I said, "Thank you very much." And we shook hands, and then the police said, "All right, now it's enough, out, we have to go." And I got under the rope and said, "Oh my God, again I didn't get his name and address." But I figured it was by Krishna's mercy this man was able to meet a pure devotee once, twice, and that will again give him the opportunity, some devotional service he did to meet Prabhupada again.